Hello Maestros, my name is Teacher Jenni from Junior Jive. Our story today is a story called Refilwe. Now you might recognize this story a little bit because it might sound like a story you might know called Rapunzel. And what the author here has done is she's taken Rapunzel and she's made it a little bit different. She's used the country of Lesotho as the basis for the story. Now, if you don't know where Lesotho is actually quite close by to us. In fact, it is surrounded by South Africa. It is a tiny little country that has the provinces of South Africa all around it. And it has 2 mountain ranges. So it's got 2 big mountains in it. It's got the Maloto mountain range and it's got the Drakensberg mountain range in it. The Basotho people love to sing. So you will notice that Refilwe loves to sing in the story too. So if you want to imagine that you are Refilwe, you can sing along with her. Enjoy! Once, in the mountain kingdom of Lesotho, a husband and wife longed for a child. They visited sangomas, brewed beer for the ancestors, and finally, the wife was expecting a baby. A famous and powerful witch lived next door to the couple and managed to grow healthy pumpkins throughout the year when everyone else's gardens suffered in the dry mountain area. The pumpkins produced healthy marokho. When the wife saw the delicious green leaves, she longed to eat the witch's marokho and wanted nothing else. She started getting thin and her skin became ashen. Her husband noticed and worriedly asked, "My wife, what is wrong?" She gazed longingly at the marokho and said, "Oh, I think if I do not have some of those delicious green leaves next door, I will die." The husband loved his wife and did not want her to die. When the witch had gone to the river to fetch some water, he went into her garden and quickly picked some marokho. He gave the green leaves to his wife, and she was happy. But the next day, the wife sighed again. "Oh, how I wish I could have some more of those delicious green leaves." So the husband waited for the witch to go to the river. But this time he was too slow. The witch came back and caught him red-handed. "You thief! How dare you steal my marokho which I worked for day and night?" the witch said angrily. The frightened husband pleaded, "Forgive me." The witch looked at him and asked, "Why should I forgive you? You stole from me." "My wife is with child and cannot eat anything. All she wishes for is the marokho she sees in your garden. Please, I am very sorry. I will do whatever you want to make it up to you," he answered. Now the witch smiled and waved her hand. "Don't worry. You can take all the morojo you want from my garden, as we do not want your wife to die." Then she paused and added, "But when your child is born, she belongs to me." The husband agreed to the witch's demand, for he was afraid of what she would do if he did not. "We will brew some more beer for the ancestors," he thought. "Maybe when my wife has another child, she will not crave anything in the witch's garden." Some months later, a beautiful young daughter was born, and they feared the moment the witch would come to take her away. True to her word, the witch arrived at their door and took the baby. She named her Refilwe. Refilwe had lovely coffee-coloured skin and almond-shaped eyes and hair that the witch immediately started twisting into neat dreadlocks. When Refilwe was 12, the witch decided that she did not want anyone to see her, so she took the girl to live in a cave high up on a nearby mountain. Every day she brought food and shouted, "Refilwe! Refilwe! Let down your locks so I can climb the scraggy rocks." Then Refilwe would let down her braided dreadlocks, and the witch would climb up with her basket of food. Apart from the witch's visits, Refilwe only had a few storybooks to keep her company, so she spent her time reading and singing. One day, Prince Tumi, heir to the mountain kingdom of Lesotho, was out riding his horse. He heard the sound of a beautiful voice coming from the top of the mountain. For many days he came to hear the melodious singing, but could not find where the voice was coming from. One day he heard a rough voice close to him yelling, "Refilwe! Refilwe! Let down your locks so I can climb the scraggy rocks." Prince Tumi watched as some braided locks tumbled down the side of the mountain, and an old witch climbed up. He could hardly wait for the witch to go. Then, imitating her voice, he yelled out, "Refilwe! Refilwe! Let down your locks so I can climb the scraggy rocks." Refilwe, thinking the old woman had forgotten something, let down her locks, and Prince Tumi climbed up. Yo! Imagine her surprise when she saw a man entering the cave. "Who are you?" she asked in a frightened voice. "Don't be afraid," Tumi answered. "I just wanted to see the girl who sings so beautifully." Refilwe was as lovely as her voice, and Prince Tumi fell deeply in love with her. The prince visited Refilwe every day after the witch had gone. Soon, Tumi told Refilwe he wanted to marry her, and for a while they were both very happy. But one day, Refilwe complained to the witch. "Every time you come to visit, my head aches." The witch was hurt. "Hi, are you saying that you do not like talking to me? Heh?" Refilwe shook her head. "No, it's just that you are so much heavier than Prince Tumi. When he gets up here, he massages my head with herbs, so I feel better." The witch was very angry. Not only had Refilwe brought someone into the cave, but she had also called her fat. She grabbed Refilwe's locks and cut them off. She sent Refilwe far away to the desert of the Northern Cape. Then she sat in the cave and waited. When Tumi arrived, he called, "Refilwe, Refilwe, let down your locks so I can climb the scraggy rocks." The witch let down the locks she had cut from Refilwe's head, and Tumi, without suspecting a thing, climbed up. "Ha! So it is you who has been visiting my Refilwe," shouted the witch when Tumi reached the top. "Well, I have sent her far away to the desert, and you will never see her again, because you shall die." And with that, she pushed him from the cave. The prince fell down the mountain, scratching his eyes on a sharp rock. Blind and distraught, Tumi called his horse. He had to find Refilwe. For many months, Tumi travelled in search of Refilwe. At last, when the heat of the desert was unbearable and he thought he might never find her, he heard a beautiful voice singing. "Refilwe! Refilwe!" shouted the excited prince. Refilwe stopped singing. Her prince, Tumi, climbed down from his horse. She saw that he was blind, and her joy turned to sadness. As they hugged one another, Refilwe's tears fell on Tumi's eyes, and all of a sudden he could see again. The next day they made their way to the mountain king of Lesotho. When they arrived, the king and queen were happy to see their son and meet the young woman who would be his wife. They threw a big wedding party and invited Refilwe's parents, who were overjoyed to see their daughter again. Princess Refilwe and her prince Tumi knew on that day that they were blessed and would live happily ever after. Thank you, maestros, for listening to that story, Refilwe, an African retelling of Rapunzel by Sukiswa Vanna, illustrated by Tamsin Henrichsen. If mommy or daddy want to buy this book, they can find it at ethnickids.co.za. www.storytime.co.za.